So if you're in the VO Logic Dropbox, you may see that some people have saved some of their presets in there. Or if you're on YouTube looking at some of these sound design tutorials or how to get certain sounds for your project, sometimes people are going to share their presets with you. And those can come in a couple different formats. They can be a .pst file, which is a plugin preset, a .cst file, which is a channel strip preset, and a .patch, which is a patch for the Logic library. And if you want to see how to install those and how to use them, stick around. We'll get into what those are in a second here. But welcome back to the channel. Thank you for checking us out, and like and subscribe and share if you know someone that's using Logic Pro with VoiceOver. Alright, so let's get into this. So first things first, I'm going to jump into Safari. There's a YouTube video that someone shared where they're talking about how to make that Dr. Dre G-Funk West Coast whistle sound, that synth melody that you hear in a lot of 90s hip-hop. And they share some presets for that. So I'm going to use that as an example here, and I'll link to that tutorial as well in the description below if you want to try creating it from scratch yourself. Alright, so I'm going to jump into Safari here.
Safari, favorites, window. Open location. Sound slash. How to get that Dr. Dre in how to navigate link, quick nav on. Heading level 1, link, main, artist, link, doc, in the Dr. Dre frame, heading level 2, Dr. Dre whistle presets.
Alright, so I'm here in Safari and I'm on the page with the YouTube video, and below the video frame is a couple of links to download the presets. So if I VO right arrow through this page,
heading level 3, link, Dre whistle, ES2 preset.
So you see there's a Dre whistle ES2 preset. So if I VO space on this, it will download the preset file.
Web content, download has started, web content.
And I'm just gonna do Command W to close this tab.
Close tab. Heading level 3, link, Dr. Dre, whistle, Logic Pro channel strip.
And the Logic channel strip. So VO space on this to download
Press
as
web
well.
Content. Download has started. Web content.
Alright, and I'm gonna quit Safari here because we don't need this anymore. I'm going to do Command Option L, jump into my downloads folder.
Downloads, window, column view, browser. Column view, browser, quick nav off. DR plus Dre plus whistle CST, Logic channel strip settings file. DR plus Dre plus whistle PST, Logic plugin settings file.
So you see we have two files here. One is a plugin setting file and one is a channel strip setting file. Now, if you recall, the website where we just downloaded this link said this was an ES2 plugin setting file. So this is a preset for ES2 specifically. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit return on this file so I can rename it, and I'm going to put ES2 in the name. That way, in the future, if I, need to reinstall this, copy this back into the right location, I know this needs to go in the ES2 folder, because right now it doesn't tell us that in the name. So when you name in your presets, sometimes you might want to put, the name of the plugin in there if you're going to share them publicly. So anyway, I'm just going to hit return on this.
DR plus Dre plus DR period P period.
And right before the period, I'm just going to put space ES2.
Downloads window.
Just so I know where that goes. All right. So now is a good time to have a brief discussion about what the difference between a .pst, a .cst, and a .patch is. A plugin setting file, a .pst, is a preset just for a specific plugin. So that means this one in particular is going to be a preset just for ES2. A .cst is a channel strip setting file, and that basically means that saves the entire channel strip. Whatever instrument, if it's a software instrument track, and then any plugins, any audio plugins on the track after that, like an EQ, reverb, compressor, etc. And then a .patch file is the next level up from a channel strip file. And that basically saves any instrument on the channel strip, any audio plugins after that instrument, and then any sends, buses, routing, etc. Now, this can be the same with audio channel strips. It's just you won't have the instrument slot there. You'll just have whatever plugins you have on there. Like, let's say if it's a guitar preset, you might have Amp Designer, followed by an EQ, followed by a compressor, followed by some reverb, for example. All right. So let's get into where we need to put these. So we need to copy these into our audio applications folder. There are going to be subfolders in there for channel strip settings and for plugin settings. So let's start with the plugin setting file.
DR plus Dre plus whistle CST, Logic channel strip settings file. DR plus Dre plus whistle ES2 PST, Logic plugin settings file.
All right, so let's start with the plugin settings file. I got this selected. I'm going to press Command C to copy this.
Copy DR plus Dre plus whistle ES2 PST.
All right. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to open a new Finder window. So I'm going to do Command N.
New Finder window. Now in the Oreo Monsters map.
And I'm just going to do Command Shift H, jump into my home folder.
List one item.
type MUS.
Music folder.
Get to my music folder, go into that.
Audio hijack.
Looking for audio music app.
Audio music apps.
There we go. Go into this folder.
Alchemy samples group.
And remember, we got the plugin setting file that we want to paste, so I'm going to look for the plugin setting folder.
Bookmarks, channel strip, custom icon, databases, key commands, patches, plugin settings, folder.
There we go, plugin settings folder. And now I'm going to go into this and look for ES2.
Adaptive limiter.
So I'm just going to type
Echo, ES1, folder.
That's ES1.
ES2, folder.
There we go, ES2. So I'm just going to paste this in here, so Command V.
Paste item.
All right, so we got that one pasted in. Now I'm going to use Command Accent to cycle through my Finder windows to go back to my download folder.
Cycle through windows. Now in downloads window.
All
Column
right,
view.
there we go. Now let's copy the channel strip setting file.
DR plus Dre plus whistle CST. Logic channel strip settings file.
All right, got this. So Command C.
Copy DR plus Dre plus whistle CST.
And now I'm going to use Command Accent to cycle through my Finder windows again.
Cycle through windows. Desktop empty. Cycle through windows. Now in ES2 window.
All right, we're back in the ES2 window. I'm going to back out of this because now we need to find the channel strip settings
Patches,
folder.
folder, key commands, databases, custom icon, channel strip settings, folder.
Channel strip setting. There we go. By the way, just so you know,
Customize database, key command, patches, folder.
if you have a patch for the library, a .patch file, you'd want to paste that here in the patches folder.
Key command, database, custom icons, channel strip settings, folder.
All right. So there's a channel strip setting folder right there. So we're going to go into this folder.
Bus, group, 1 of 5.
And you see there's bus,
Instrument,
instrument,
folder, output, folder,
output,
processing, folder,
processing,
track, folder.
track. And in this case, because this is a channel strip setting that includes a software instrument, we are going to put it in the instrument
Processing,
section.
output, instrument, folder.
And I'm sure if I go in here,
Performance, group, 1 of 1.
there's another folder called performance, and that's it. So because this isn't a performance channel strip setting, we just need to save it in the channel strip setting folder itself.
Instrument, group, 2 of 5.
So I'm just going to make sure instrument is selected and Command V
Paste
to
item.
paste. Now, I once again have my Finder set to column view. So basically, once I'm on a folder, I can just Command V to paste into that folder. If you're in list view, you're probably going to have to open the folder first before you can paste into it. So just be aware of that. If you want to set your Finder to column view, I highly recommend it. Press Command 3 in Finder, and that will set you to column view. All right, so just a note about the other options in here: bus,
Instrument, output, folder,
output, processing, tracks. These are based on what type of channel strip it is. So if you like have a bunch of stuff routed to a bus and you have a reverb on that bus, you save that as a channel strip setting. If you need to send that to someone else, they're going to have to put that in the bus folder. Output is usually, I believe, something for the master output track, the stereo output track, if you save a channel strip setting for that. Processing is if you use selection-based processing, which is how you can apply effects just to a specific region. And then track is basically anything that's not an instrument track. So that's where you put your audio settings. All right. So now that we got everything pasted into the appropriate location, I'm going to open up Logic and then demonstrate how this works. All right. So I'm here in Logic and I have just a single instance of the Classic Electric Piano channel strip
Track
up.
1 classic electric piano. Group.
That's the channel strip that comes up when you create a new software instrument in a project. All right, and you hear that's the Classic Electric Piano. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump into the mixer because I just prefer to work out of the mixer instead of the inspector. So I'm going to hit Command 2 to open the mixer in its own window.
Now in Untitled 1, mixer, tracks, small room /0, classic electric piano.
All right, so I'm going to interact with the channel strip here.
Classic electric piano, channel strip groove.
And I'm going to jump to the top of the channel strip via home.
Classic electric piano button.
And you see we got this button here that says Classic Electric Piano. If I VO space on this button, I can choose a different channel strip.
Menu, set next channel, previous copy paste channels, paste plugin, paste send zone, bypass all, remove empty, and remove all send, reset channel strip, save channel strip, save as performance, delete channel strip set, DR plus Dre plus whistle.
And we got DR Dre whistle right there, VO
Press
space.
DR plus Dre plus whistle, classic electric piano, channel strip groove.
All right, so now this channel strip has been changed to be that preset. And now if we look at this,
small room /0.4, classic elect, DR plus Dre plus whistle, on, MIDI plugin, button, ES2, groove.
you see that's got ES2 loaded up,
Insert bar, button, PT verb, groove.
Platinum
Insert bar,
verb,
channel EQ, groove.
channel
Insert bar,
EQ,
overdrive, groove.
overdrive,
Insert bar, compressor, groove.
compressor.
Audio plugin, button.
And if you watch the tutorial about how to make this sound, you'll see this is exactly all the stuff that he loaded up in the order he loaded it up on the channel strip. And if I reach over here to my keyboard, so there you go. got that sound loaded up. You just want to make sure you're in the right range of the keyboard to be playing a sound like this. So what I'm going to do also is I'm going to create a new track and show you how to load up the PST file if you don't want like the reverb and everything else that comes with it. Because if you load the channel strip setting file, you're going to get everything that's on the channel strip that the person created, which is the ES2 instrument. It's got the reverb, EQ, overdrive, compression going on here.
Bus 2, groove. Semicolon infinite. Send not bus 3, minus 28.6, send button.
And so, and you see, because it's just a channel strip setting, it left all the buses that the classic electric piano was originally routed to on here as well. So I'm going to hit M to mute this channel strip.
Toggle channel strip mute on.
And I'm going to do Option Command S to drop a new software instrument track in this project.
Bus 3, groove. Out of classic
Stop
electric.
interacting with that
Classic
one.
electric piano. Channel strip groove.
And you see we have another classic electric piano here.
Classic electric off 0 off 0 automate off stereo send button but minus bus 3 semicolon bus 2 audio e piano groove.
So you see there's no audio effects on this track, and then there's just E piano. So I'm going to interact with
piano,
this.
Open button list button menu vintage electric piano submenu no plugin recent dimmed vocal synth 2 harmony engine little alter evo 20 tal vocoder alchemy drum kit disc drum synth EFM1 ESE ESM ESP ES1 ES2 synthesizer 2 submenu
ES2 VO space on this.
ES2 synth stereo.
Let's go with a stereo instant.
Press stereo classic electric piano
So now
toolbar bypass factory default pop up button
that factory default area where you can select a preset.
menu 30
VO
items
space.
13 word synth sub 12 tutorial set 11 synth chords submenu 10 gated synth sub 09 synth motion sequences submenu.
And I just did VON to jump to the bottom of the list, and now I'm going up for all the presets, using VO up arrow to go up for all the presets to get to the one that I saved.
08 synth bells 07 sequence element 06 synth brass 05 synth keyboard 04 synth strings 03 synth bass 02 synth pads 01 synth leds DR plus Dre plus whistle ES2.
There we go.
Closing menu DR plus Dre plus whistle ES2 pop up button DR plus Dre plus whistle ES2 check.
And so now I got that preset loaded up in ES2. So we got just the sound, none of the reverb or any of the processing that the person had on this track after the ES2. So those are the two different ways you can load up the plugin setting or the channel strip setting. You can also save this out as a patch if you want to be able to access it easily enough from the library. And I'll show you how to do that. And I'll actually do it from the track that has the entire channel strip on it. So I'm going to do Command W to close this.
Now in out of ES MIDI plugin button. Out of classic electric.
Stop interacting with the channel strip.
Classic electric piano channel strip.
Go back to track 1.
In classic electric piano name
So
text.
first things first, I'm going to rename this. I'm going to jump up to the top of the channel strip here with VO home.
DR plus Dre plus whistle button.
And DR Dre whistle. So I'm just going to do Command Shift C to
Last phrase
copy
copy to the clipboard.
that phrase, and I'm going to hit VO N to jump back to the end of the
Classic
channel
electric
strip.
piano.
I want to
Classic
rename
electric piano.
this channel
Unselected.
strip.
Insertion on word. A L C A 6 E L E C T R I 6 P I A N O.
All right, VO
Button.
space.
Button. Whistle. Whistle. Unselect. Selection to E L T S I A W plus. Plus.
Take out the plus
Dre.
sign, put a space
Space
in.
E R D plus. Plus.
Got that plus
DR.
sign, put another space
Space R
in.
D D D D R space D D D R E space W H I S T L E E.
All right, hit
Echo.
return.
Classic electric piano. Name.
So
text.
now if I
Auto
stop
classic
interacting with
classic
this-
electric Dr. Dre whistle. Channels in Dr.
All
Dre
right,
whistle.
see Dr. Dre whistle. Now I want to go get rid of all the
Classic electric
sends
piano.
on this track as well.
Off, on, 0, off, 0. Automation, groove, off. Stereo output, send button, minus 28.0. Send knob, circular slider. Bus 3, groove.
So where it says bus 3,
bypass, list, button.
go to
Menu,
list,
check mark, independent pan. Post check mark, pre-fader, no send.
no
Press
send.
no send. Classic electric piano, off. Solo, switch. On, 0, off, 0. Automation, groove.
Unfortunately, when you set it to no send, it puts you back at the start of the channel strip. So you got a VO left arrow back over to the send.
Off. Stereo output, send button, semicolon infinite. Send knob, circular slider. Bus 2, bypass, list, button. Menu, check mark, independent pan. Post check mark, pre-fader, no send. Press no send.
No
Classic electric
send.
piano, name, tech.
Okay, so there are no sends on this track anymore. So now I'm going to close the mixer.
Track 1 Dr. Dre, space with lock, track 1 Dr. Dre whistle, groove.
All right, so we got this track 1 selected. So what I'm going to do, stop interacting with the tracks area here.
Out of track, out of.
Go into the library.
Inspector, groove. Library, groove.
There we go. If the library is not visible, you can hit the letter Y to toggle the library
In
visible.
library, groove. 8 items. DR plus Dre plus whistle.
All right, you see it shows the name DR Dre Whistle because that's the name of the track. So I'm just going to hit VO N,
Save button.
jump over to that save button, VO space.
Dr. Dre whistle patch. Content selected. Save as. Edit text. Save patch as. Save as.
By default, it's going to name the patch after the track, so Dr. Dre Whistle.patch. By default, that's going to put it in our patch folder. So I'm just going to hit VO end. I'm just going to hit VO end.
Save button.
Get to save button.
Now in
Hit
Untitled
save.
1 track.
Alright, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the tracks header, get out of the library here.
Tracks, track, in tracks, group. Tracks, tool, track, in tracks, time, tracks, header, in track 1, Dr. Dre.
Back in the track header. I'm going to delete this track.
Track 1, classic electric piano, group.
And delete that track.
No, cancel, dim, button.
And now Logic can access to add a new track to the project because you can't have a blank project in Logic without a track in it.
Software instrument, selected, software instrument.
Select the software instrument.
Audio, radio button, 2 of 6.
And I'm going to jump to the end and hit create.
Default button.
So there we go.
Group, tracks, time, tracks, header, in track 1, classic electric
You
piano.
see, we have classic electric piano. Alright, so basically now that we have this track, if we want to switch to a Dr. Dre whistle, we can just go into the library.
Inspector, library, in library, horizontal split, search sounds, search text, library, browser.
And interact with the library.
Vintage electric piano, vintage electric, user channel, user patches.
User patches, that's what we're looking for.
Dr. Dre whistle.
And you see in the user patches, I'll find the Dr. Dre whistle sound. And it loads it immediately, so if I start playing. Alright, so there you have it. That's how you can import a channel strip setting or plugin setting file. And you can use the same method to import a .patch file, just put it in the patches folder. And if you only have a channel strip setting or a plugin setting file, that's how you can also create a patch as well. And if I switch back over to Finder here,
Finder, track, window, track, folder.
You see I'm still in the audio music apps folder, and I'm going to go back one level.
Channel strip settings, group, 3 of 14.
So now I'm out of the channel strip setting folder. I'm going to go down to the patch folder.
Custom database key command, patches, folder.
And let's go into the patches folder.
Audio, group, 1 of 4.
And you see there's audio,
aux, folder,
aux,
instrument,
and if I go into instrument,
Dr. Dre whistle patch, group,
you'll see Dr. Dre whistle patch because this is a patch for a software instrument track, so obviously it's saved it in instrument by default. Alright, so there you have it. That's how you can bring presets into Logic. Once again, the tutorial on how to create that sound from scratch and see what that sound is all about is linked in the description below. Please check that out and so you can see how this sound came to be. And it's a nice little tutorial on how to kind of create sounds in ES2 as well. Anyways, hope you found that useful. Now, if you find presets online, whether in the VO Logic Dropbox or on other tutorials on YouTube, you know what to do with them. If you got any questions about this, please feel free to leave them in the comments below. And if you got something you'd love to see me cover in a future tutorial, as always, drop those in the comments below as well. As always, check out the blog, logic.band. Share with someone you know who's a voiceover user and is getting up to speed with Logic. And until next time, happy recording.